General Hospital spoilers reveal that the evolution of Ava and Cody's relationship has become a force of obsession so potent that it has taken on a life of its own. Transcending its original design and becoming something far more dangerous, far more consuming than anyone in Port Charles ever expected. What started as a covert ploy led by Christina to infiltrate Ava's guarded world and expose a blackmail plot against Alexis has now spiraled into a relentless psychological entanglement, where the lines between deceit, desire, and destruction have all but vanished. Cody, who once stepped into Ava's orbit as a reluctant operative, now finds himself tethered to her through a storm of raw emotions, power plays, and magnetic attraction that seems to strip away every trace of the man he used to be. Ava, long a master of manipulation and survival, seems to have shed even the pretense of caring about public perception as she embraces the madness of their connection, fully aware of how it unnerves the people around them. And now, in a move that will reverberate through every corner of Port Charles, the two have decided to get married, igniting an eruption of obsession, chaos, and revelation that no one can control. The wedding isn't merely a celebration, it's a defiant act. A challenge hurled in the faces of those who doubted them, feared them, or tried to control them. For Ava, this union is about power reclaimed. It is about rewriting the narrative forced upon her by the town, by her enemies, and by a legacy of betrayal. For Cody, it's about purpose, something real to cling to in a life defined by uncertainty. He is no longer just the man Christina sent in to do her dirty work, he is the man standing next to Ava, sharing her fire, matching her darkness, feeding off the obsession that binds them. Their decision to wed is not about love in its purest form, it is about ownership, about command, about becoming the eye of the storm rather than the debris spinning around it. But while Ava and Cody indulge in the intoxication of this unlikely romance, Christina is left shattered on the outside of the very web she spun. Her plan, once so calculated, has turned on her with venom. She watches as Cody, the man she thought she could manipulate, becomes fully enmeshed in Ava's world, his loyalty no longer hers to summon. Worse, she starts to suspect that Ava knew everything all along, that Ava played her, used her desperation to orchestrate her own rise, and turned the tables so that every move Christina made now serves Ava's agenda. The obsession that once festered between Cody and Ava is now radiating outward, infecting every relationship it touches. Molly grows suspicious of Cody's disappearing act and his increasingly erratic behavior. Alexis finds herself caught in the moral dissonance between maternal concern and the echo of old mistakes. Rick, who once used Ava for distraction, begins to spiral as he watches her slip further into madness, but not the kind of madness that breaks a person. This is the kind of madness that builds thrones. And Christina, already struggling with her own identity, now sees her mission collapsing in on itself. She is not the puppet master, she is the puppet left behind. A casualty of obsession gone unchecked. As the wedding approaches, the atmosphere in Port Charles grows heavier. Rumors circulate. Loyalties are tested. People who once had nothing to do with Cody or Ava now find their names whispered in the same breath, as if proximity alone might draw them into the whirlpool. Every smile from Ava, every cryptic look from Cody, every step they take toward the altar carries with it the weight of secrets no one has yet spoken. It is no longer just a question of whether they should marry, it's a question of what their marriage might unleash. What if the wedding is not the culmination of obsession but the beginning of a darker chapter neither of them can control? What if Christina's unraveling plan triggers a chain reaction that exposes far more than Ava's secrets? What if this union is not built on love but on shared damage? And what if that damage is exactly what Port Charles has always feared? As Ava chooses her dress and Cody settles into the chaos with disturbing calm, the town braces itself for a spectacle. But beneath the ceremony lies the real storm, an emotional war waged by two people who found in each other not salvation, but permission. Permission to be reckless. To be devoured by their darker selves, to let go of the version of love that heals and embrace the version that consumes. Every interaction now feels electric. Every touch laced with the memory of deception, every word another thread in a tangled web no one can escape. The obsession is no longer personal, it has become communal. Everyone is watching. everyone is affected. And no one knows who will emerge from the wreckage. As for Ava and Cody, whether their wedding ends in vows or violence, they have already won in a way that terrifies those who thought they understood the rules. They have rewritten them entirely. Ava and Cody's wedding is no longer just the talk of Port Charles, it has become the eye of a storm that threatens to swallow everyone in its path. What started as a flirtation born from espionage and strategy has erupted into a full-fledged obsession, a raw and dangerous romance forged in lies, secrets, and power plays. As the announcement of their engagement spreads, the city reels in disbelief. No one saw it coming, yet in hindsight, it feels inevitable. The fire between Ava and Cody has been building for weeks. And now it's consuming everything around them. Their chemistry, once disguised as manipulation, has morphed into a force of nature that neither of them can control. And with wedding preparations underway, the tension, emotional, political, and psychological, is reaching a fever pitch. For Ava, this marriage is more than love, it's defiance. She's no stranger to reinvention, and this union represents her most dramatic transformation yet. With every decision she makes, from the venue to the vows, Ava is rewriting her narrative. Casting herself not as the victim of past betrayals, but as the architect of her future. Cody, unpredictable and reckless, is the perfect match for her newest version. Together, they make no apologies. Together, they are flames in human form, dazzling, dangerous, impossible to contain. But beneath the surface of this passionate affair lies a darker truth, Cody's new mission. What few people know is that Cody has been reactivated. Somewhere in the background, perhaps from the shadows of Christina's failed plan or from a deeper, more secretive faction, Cody has received a new directive. This time, it isn't about manipulating Ava, it's about leveraging her. This mission requires Cody to move closer. To embed himself so deeply into Ava's life that she becomes both his shield and his target. The wedding provides him with unrestricted access, legal, emotional, even financial. And someone, somewhere, has decided that Ava is now the key to unlocking something much larger than a petty blackmail scheme. Yet what complicates the operation is how real everything has become. Cody wasn't supposed to fall for Ava, but he has. He wasn't supposed to feel torn, but now he's at war with himself. Every kiss, every shared secret, every stolen moment between them becomes another step into a deeper abyss. He knows that the closer he gets to her, the harder it will be to complete the mission. But walking away no longer feels like an option. Ava has become a drug, and Cody is addicted. The city watches with bated breath as the wedding date draws near. Christina is silently unraveling. Knowing she set the first domino in motion but now has no control over where they fall. Alexis, sensing something far more sinister lurking beneath the surface, tries to intervene. But her voice no longer reaches either of them. Molly, deeply suspicious of Cody's erratic behavior, starts digging into his past. And Rick finds himself torn between resentment and regret as he realizes Ava has moved on, publicly, explosively, with a man he doesn't understand. Even Nina, always 3 steps ahead, begins to fear that Ava's choices are spiraling into something even she can't predict. And still, Ava and Cody march forward, undeterred. To them, the chaos is just background noise. They are locked in, driven by a hunger that devours reason. Every piece of their past, the manipulation, the secrets, the games, has melted away, leaving only the obsession. Ava doesn't care if the world believes she's lost her mind. Cody doesn't care if the mission consumes him. Together, they are rewriting the rules, daring anyone to try and stop them. But deep down, Ava isn't blind. There are moments, quiet, fleeting, when she sees the shadow in Cody's eyes. She's played this game too many times not to recognize it. She knows there's something he's not telling her. And perhaps, that's part of the thrill. Ava thrives in danger. She's drawn to the men who walk the edge of morality, and Cody is no exception. In fact, he may be her most dangerous gamble yet. But what she doesn't know is that Cody is starting to question everything. He's beginning to realize that the real mission might not be about Ava, it might be about himself. About who he becomes when he lets go of the rules, the obligations, the ghosts of who he once was. And if the mission demands he betray her, he's not sure he can. As the wedding day arrives, Port Charles holds its breath. The ceremony is lavish, theatrical, and utterly Ava. Cody stands at the altar, a man split in two. Every guest is a witness not just to a union, but to a ticking time bomb disguised as romance. The vows are spoken, but they carry hidden meanings. The kiss seals not only the marriage, but a pact between two people who no longer play by anyone else's rules. And while the crowd applauds, no one can shake the feeling that this is just the beginning of something catastrophic. Because Cody's mission still lingers. The person, or people, behind it will not simply fade away. The wedding may have bought Ava and Cody time, but it has also made them targets. And if either of them hesitates, if either of them blinks, the entire house of cards could come crashing down. The obsession has become the only constant. Ava and Cody are bound not by trust, but by madness, and it is that very madness that now powers them. As the sun sets on their wedding night, and they stand alone, finally husband and wife, they both know one truth. Love did not bring them here. Obsession did. And it's not done with them yet. ChatGPT de NOI. Those closest to him believed he had either fled from his responsibilities or perished under the weight of his own misdeeds. In his absence, Ava reassembled the shattered pieces of her life. Not out of grief but out of rage and necessity. She pushed forward, forging a new identity as a woman no longer tethered to the ghosts of her past. But as fate would have it, just when she attempts to seal her future with Cody in a bold, defiant wedding, Nikolas steps out of the shadows, alive, transformed, and prepared to reclaim the very thing she thought she had buried. His arrival is not timed for reconciliation or forgiveness. It is a calculated detonation, timed with surgical precision to dismantle the illusion of control Ava has so carefully constructed. Just as the ceremony begins, guests gathered, tension already vibrating beneath the surface, Nikolas appears like a specter of unfinished vengeance. The moment he crosses the threshold of that chapel or ballroom, reality bends, and the trajectory of every soul in that room shifts. The gasps will echo. The looks of disbelief will ripple through the crowd. Ava's face, once calm and self-assured, will fracture with 1,000 unsaid emotions, fury, dread, guilt. And something far deeper that she dare not acknowledge in front of Cody. Because despite her current choices, despite the ring she's ready to wear, there is a part of Ava that never got closure with Nikolas. And now, in front of friends, enemies, and Port Charles society, that chapter is violently reopened. Cody, already suspicious of the ghosts Ava carries, will feel the ground shake beneath him. He may have believed he won her, that their volatile chemistry was enough to build a future upon. But Nikolas's reappearance changes the battlefield entirely. Suddenly, he is no longer the outsider challenging a broken woman's past, he is now being challenged by a man who knows Ava in ways he never can, who loved her, betrayed her, and may still own a part of her heart. But Nikolas's return is not just about Ava. He is not coming back as a broken man seeking apologies. He is coming back armed, with knowledge, with rage, and with leverage. He knows too much. About Cody's secret alliances, about Ava's unfinished sins, about Drew, Nina, Sunny, and even the games being played by Christina behind the scenes. His silence over the months has not been passive. It has been gathering, calculating, absorbing every whisper that passed through the corridors of Port Charles. Now, he steps into the light. Not only to stop Ava's wedding but to unleash revelations that could level the entire social hierarchy of the town. Nikolas doesn't just want Ava back, he wants control. He wants respect. And most of all, he wants to remind everyone that he was never truly gone. That they merely underestimated how far he would go to return on his own terms. As he interrupts the ceremony, perhaps by calling out Ava's name just before the final vows, or by dramatically revealing himself during the "speak now or forever hold your peace" moment, every person in the room will be forced to reassess everything they thought they knew. Laura will be shattered. Spencer will be torn. Trina may feel betrayed. And for Ava, it will feel like her world, once so close to rebirth, is being dragged backward into a pit she fought so hard to climb out of. Cody, unable to comprehend the full gravity of what Nikolas represents, will go into a tailspin. And the cracks in his own motivations will be laid bare. Christina, whose plans have already begun to spiral out of control, will realize she's playing with forces far more dangerous than she imagined. The wedding will not end with celebration, it will collapse into chaos. Guests will flee. Secrets will be shouted. Allegiances will fracture. And in the center of it all, Ava will be forced to confront a decision she never thought she'd face again, to choose between two lives, two men, two truths, one rooted in revenge, the other in deception. Because no matter how far she's tried to run from Nikolas, his return proves that the past never truly dies. It waits, quietly and vengefully, for the right moment to strike. And strike it does. With a vengeance that threatens to consume not just Ava and Cody, but everyone entangled in their orbit. Nikolas brings with him more than just emotional ruin. Rumors swirl that he has information capable of exposing a major cover-up involving the Cassadine legacy, documents, video footage, and testimonies that could send shockwaves through the legal and financial foundation of Port Charles. If he chooses to wield this power, the Cassadine name itself could be dragged through another scandal that would tarnish Spencer's future, further alienate Laura, and perhaps even invite legal retaliation from those who once considered him family. But Nikolas, wounded and emboldened, no longer plays by their rules. He's come to dismantle the illusion of harmony that Ava and her allies have so desperately tried to maintain. This is not the return of a remorseful man. This is the rise of a storm long overdue. And as the dust settles from the wedding that never truly was, one thing will be certain: nothing in Port Charles will be the same again. Nikolas's reappearance doesn't just change the game, it resets the board entirely, positioning him at the center of a new war no one is prepared for. Ava thought she had moved on. Cody thought he had won. But now, in the fiery aftermath of Nikolas's return, they'll both learn what it means to face the past when it refuses to stay buried. And for the people of Port Charles, the most dangerous stories are no longer the ones unfolding in secret, they're the ones erupting in plain sight, with no escape in sight. Ava is about to face a brutal reckoning as the long-buried secrets of Windmere begin to claw their way into the light, unraveling every layer of deception she thought she had buried along with Nikolas's disappearance. What begins as subtle whispers through the halls of the Gothic estate quickly escalates into a full-blown crisis that puts Ava at the center of a dangerous maelstrom. The shadows of Windmere are stirring, and what they carry threatens not only Ava's life but the fragile empire she's constructed in the absence of the Cassadine prince. As old documents are uncovered, as digital archives resurface, and as voices from the past begin to resound with painful clarity, a portrait of betrayal, stolen property, manipulated legal filings, and psychological warfare emerges, one that paints Ava not as the victim, but as the architect of a deeply sinister cover-up. The storm that's coming is not metaphorical. It's visceral, violent, and very real. Ava will be physically attacked by an unknown assailant, someone acting not merely out of anger, but as a direct reaction to the truths being unearthed beneath Windmere's foundation. It's a warning shot, a brutal declaration that her time of control is slipping, and the ghosts of what she's done are ready to rise. At the heart of this unraveling chaos is Nikolas, whose return is no longer just emotional, it's tactical. He is not the man who left, defeated and cast aside. He is now a man reborn in rage, sharpened by betrayal, and armed with knowledge that could eviscerate those who tried to erase him. Nikolas knows what Ava has done, how she manipulated documents to shift ownership of Windmere, how she paid off notaries and pressured officials to ensure that his name would vanish from the estate's official records. He knows that she forged medical files to bolster the narrative that he was mentally unstable, all to frame her own version of the truth. And he is no longer interested in negotiation or forgiveness. What he wants now is retribution. Windermere, with all its ancestral power, is not just stone and title. It's legacy. It's identity. And for Nikolas, reclaiming it isn't about money or revenge, it's about restoring the Cassadine bloodline to its rightful place, one cold, methodical move at a time. This new war between Nikolas and Ava isn't just personal, it's deeply psychological. Nikolas will begin to play the long game, unleashing an onslaught of calculated attacks meant to unravel Ava's credibility in both public and legal spheres. He'll reveal security footage never seen before, dig up testimonies from the staff she thought she'd silenced, and even threaten to expose her communications with figures like Victor and Valentine that show a far darker agenda than anyone suspected. Ava, once confident in her ability to spin the truth, will find herself cornered, isolated, and stripped of allies. Even Cody, who once stood at her side, may begin to question whether the woman he's about to marry is truly who she claims to be, or whether she's simply the latest Cassadine curse in flesh and blood. The attack on Ava becomes more than just a warning, it becomes a symbol. A signal to Port Charles that the games of the past are returning, fiercer and more dangerous than ever. Nikolas will make it clear, this isn't just about a house or a title. It's about dismantling every lie that has taken root in his absence. He will reclaim Windermere not through courts or signatures, but through domination, mental, strategic, and if necessary, violent. The legacy of the Cassadines is once again alive, but this time, it is darker, more exacting, and more relentless than ever before. And Ava? She's no stranger to war, but she's never faced one like this. Not when her name, her safety, her relationship with Cody, and her very grasp on reality are all slipping away. With every step Nikolas takes, with every piece of proof he unleashes, Ava is dragged closer to a breaking point. Her empire is crumbling. Her enemies are multiplying. And the past she thought she had buried beneath the stones of Windermere is rising like a tide, ready to drown her. This is no longer a battle over love or betrayal, it's an all-out war for legacy, power, and survival. And in this war, only one of them will be left standing on the cliffs of Spoon Island.